Adverse possession is the topic for the national portion of the real estate exam, and it covers the acquisition of title through involuntary alienation. This process allows a person to claim ownership of land that belongs to someone else, simply by using it for a specific length of time. The legal system allows this to encourage the productive use of land and to settle old title disputes. To remember the requirements for a successful claim of adverse possession, you should use the mnemonic OCEAN, which stands for open, continuous, exclusive, adverse, and notorious. Each of these 5 elements must be present for the entire statutory period, which is the number of years required by state law. Typically, this time frame ranges anywhere from 5 to 20 years and is a common point of confusion on the exam because students often mistake it for a fixed federal number. The first element is open. This means the person using the land is not hiding their activities. They are acting as if they own the property for everyone to see. If someone builds a fence or a shed on a neighbor's property and uses it every day, that is considered open use. The next element is continuous. The adverse possessor cannot use the land for 2 years, leave for 5 years, and then come back for 3 more years. The clock resets if there is a significant break in possession. However, you should look out for the concept of tacking on your exam. Tacking occurs when successive periods of possession by different people are added together to meet the statutory requirement. If one person uses the land for 8 years and then sells their property to a new owner who continues that use for another 12 years, the new owner may be able to claim 20 years of continuous possession. The third requirement is exclusive. The possessor must be the only person using the land in a way that excludes the true owner and the general public. If the true owner is also using the land at the same time, it's unlikely a court will grant title through adverse possession. The fourth element is adverse, also known as hostile. This is a primary source of trick questions on the exam. In the context of real estate law, hostile does not mean there is a conflict or a fight between neighbors. It simply means the use is without the permission of the legal owner. If the owner gives the neighbor permission to use the land, the possession is no longer adverse. Permission creates a license or an easement, but it completely defeats a claim for adverse possession because the use is now consensual. Finally, the possession must be notorious. This means the use is so obvious that the true owner should have known about it if they were keeping a reasonable eye on their property. Open and notorious are often paired together because they both relate to the visibility of the possession. If a person is using a remote part of a 1,000-acre ranch and the owner never visits that area, it might still be considered notorious if the use would be seen by a reasonable person inspecting the boundaries. This places the burden on the property owner to perform regular inspections of their land to ensure no one else is establishing a claim. Once the statutory time period has passed and all OCEAN elements are met, the possessor still does not have a clear marketable title. They must go to court and file a quiet title action. This is a legal proceeding used to establish ownership and clear any clouds on the title. A judge will review the evidence to ensure all 5 elements were met before issuing a decree that grants the title to the possessor. On the exam, remember that adverse possession generally cannot be used against government property. You should also watch for scenarios involving minor encroachments, like a driveway or a fence that is 2 feet over the property line. These are the most common real-world examples used in test questions to see if you can correctly apply the OCEAN requirements and identify the need for a quiet title action to finalize the transfer of title. This process is distinct from an easement by prescription, where someone gains the right to use the land but does not gain the actual title or ownership. Understanding this distinction is vital for answering scenario-based questions correctly. Be sure to look for the word ownership or title versus the word use when reading your exam questions. If the question asks about gaining title, you are looking for adverse possession. If it asks about gaining a right-of-way or a right to use, you are looking for an easement by prescription.